my name is Jamie Rue, and today I'm going to talk about Heartless by Marissa Meyer. I don't know that I'm going to be able to film any sort of review without spoilers, but I'm going to try. I'm going to try to keep this as spoiler-free as possible because I went into this book knowing virtually nothing. I mean, I knew what the book was about, obviously, but I had no context. I knew it took place in Wonderland, and that was about it. Zero context otherwise, and that worked out beautifully for me. Let me start by saying that it has been a very long time since I have read a book for fun. And it has been a very long time since I have read a book that made me feel so much. So this book takes place in Wonderland, like Alice in Wonderland, And there's this girl named Catherine Pinkerton, and she really wants to be a baker, except the king of the land of Heart wants to marry her. And then she meets the court joker, the new court joker, and stuff happens. Was it the best book I've ever read? Not by a long shot. I'd argue that this is not a very good book, but I would argue that it makes you feel a lot of things. But if you don't really want to feel emotions, if you don't want to feel like someone ripped your heart out, don't read this book. If you like Marissa Meyer, if you like her strong heroine defeats a whole kingdom and overcomes a whole bunch of stuff and has happily ever after with random person that they met along the way, don't read this book. If you like that Marissa Meyer, don't read this. If you like the fantasy adaptation aspect of it, then sure, it's not sci-fi, not by any means. If you like Marissa Meyer's writing style, sure, go ahead. If you liked Cinder and Scarlet and Cress and Winter for their protagonists and for the things that their protagonists did and accomplished and how they ended up, don't read this. I think you can very safely classify this as what my English teachers at school would call literary junk food. If you just want emotion, if you want to scream at your book because you're angry, read it. If not, skip it. Waste your time on something better. I recommend Sarah J. Maas, or Moss, however the hell you pronounce her last name. That's about all I'm gonna say about this book. I'm gonna shut up because I can't talk about this anymore without spoiling everything. And if you don't want this spoiled, leave, because I'm about to explode on camera. I have never cried after reading a book. I cried while reading a book, okay? That's normal. I cried after reading this book 3 different times. 3. I can't listen to Taylor Swift's Wonderland anymore without crying. I'm so upset. I've never been so upset. I am in shock. I hate this book so much. I've never been sad before. Never before have I been able to say that I was sad. I could say I was frustrated. I could say I was angry. I could say a lot of things. I couldn't say sad. Now I can say sad because this book killed me. It literally ripped my heart out. You know that scene at the end where Catherine gets her heart stabbed out of her chest? Yeah, me while reading this book. Literally, what did I read? Can we please? Okay, first of all, Catherine is a terrible protagonist in terms of I just hated her as a person. She was a good protagonist in the sense that if you wanted her to end up the way she did, you characterized her beautifully, Marissa Meyer. You know what? I commend you for that. She is cowardly and she is selfish and no, she's just cowardly. She's not selfish. I mean, to some extent she is. She's cowardly, but only when it comes to her own affairs. She's cowardly when it comes to stuff that matters to her personally. You know, she sees someone else having some sort of injustice happen, she goes and is yo, what's up? Sir Peter's wife? Yeah, there's a little something that happened there. When Jess takes the fall for her and frames himself as a wanted man, and when she refuses to reject the king over and over again. She is a coward through and through, absolutely no backbone until it's way too late, and it pisses me off. I hate Catherine so much. As a person, she did not deserve Jess on any level. I don't know what Jess saw in her. Jess was too pure for this world, and obviously, this book not the same because he frigging dies, and I'm so upset, and I've never been so upset, and I didn't believe when it happened. I thought that he was gonna come back, and everything had been pointing to a happy ending, and they were so close to going through the looking glass, and Catherine, all you had to do was not listen to that scream, and I don't understand. Marianne, why are you like this? Why is everything like this? Why is this book like this? Oh my god, they were so close to having a happy ending. It was so amazing. They were so close. Literally everything pointed to a happy ending. I looked at reviews of this before I read the book. Everything was oh, it was so predictable, blah blah. No idea. To be fair, when I read this. I had no idea that this was the origin story of the Queen of Hearts. I kind of just didn't put it together in my head. It's been a long time since I've seen Alice in Wonderland. For some reason, I thought the Queen of Hearts was like the red queen, so I thought that's what they were talking about. And I was so confused, and I was like, what is happening? And they could have had a bakery in Chess, and they could have been together for like ever, and it could have been great, but no, you had to go through the stupid door back to Heart, and I want to throw this book, and I hate everything about life. Everything is terrible, and I'm just ranting and rambling, and I'm so angry, and I'm so upset, and I'm so mad, and she's terrible at the end. Catherine is the worst at the end. Literally, what, why, how? You could have gone back to Chess and ended the war in his name. Like, you could have done that, but no, instead you're just gonna go batshit crazy on everyone, ban people from going to Chess, and generally become a terrible person. I'm so pissed off. I was sad over the weekend because I finished this on Friday, right? I finished this all in one day because I was so excited about it, because I was so sure that they were gonna have a happy ending, and Jess deserved it, and even though I didn't like Catherine all that much, I was willing to power through because Jess loved her, and I was like, okay, I'm down with this. But no, I started crying in the middle of AP Lit. In the middle of AP Literature, I started crying. Not full-on sobs, to be fair, like I'm not that crazy, but I started like shedding a tear or two during AP Lit. I gasped out loud. Everyone was silent. It was amazing. It was so embarrassing. Oh, I'm so angry. I've never been so angry in a book. Oh my god. Oh, I'm so mad. I need to buy this book. Besides me being so overly emotional about this book, I had legitimate problems with it. The whole insta love, all of a sudden they're in love with each other type thing. Not so into that. I'm like never so into that. I try to keep that from happening in my own writing, and I try to hate whatever books happen to have that. Nothing about this book was subtle, by the way. Like, everything in this book was like, boom, obviousness, boom, obviousness. I'm gonna hit you in the face with this, like, Sir, like, Peter, pumpkin eater riddle, and then I'm gonna hit you in the face with Peter being really angry that you stole a pumpkin, but somehow Kath doesn't put that together. The sheer obviousness of everything in this book pissed me off on many levels, but I stopped kind of caring about all the stuff that pissed me off because there's one main thing that pissed me off. What did I like about this book besides Jess? I can't talk about Jess without crying, so I'm just not going to. Oh my god, I'm gonna start crying in the middle of this video. Oh my god, when Jess comes and is like, I know another way that we can be together, like right after she accepts the king's proposal. It was such a good scene. I read it like 3 times. I just want to go back to when everything was hopeful and beautiful, and I thought that she was gonna move up the ranks of Chess from a pawn to a queen, and they were gonna stop a war together and live happily ever after. My emotion is clouding all of my judgment. I'm so angry. I really liked Hada and Kath's dynamic, where she had a begrudging kind of tolerance of him and he had a begrudging tolerance of her. I liked that dynamic, and I liked how it played out at the end, even though she's a bitch. I liked how it played out at the end. Like, it worked. I didn't like how he suddenly went mad at the end. That was kind of weird, but like, fine. I hated all of the names in this book. Jest, Hada, Hair, except spelled H-A-I-G-A. Let me know. Like, what? These names, not about them. Catherine Pinkerton, please. But willing to overlook that because Wonderland. I don't care for the cover of this book. If you open up the book, I can't take the cover off of this because it's a library book, but if you open it up, the inside is this like beautiful kind of leathery feeling, like red and black checkered pattern. I can't believe I didn't realize this was the origin story of the Queen of Hearts. I'm kind of stupid, apparently. Like, straight up, just dumb. I think what this book did really well, for me anyway, is I did not associate this with the Disney movie at all. I was not picturing the Disney movie, wasn't picturing the live action feature with Johnny Depp, no. I was picturing very, very distinct, different things. The ballroom looked very regal and like different. Everything felt like regal and real, and there's this land called Chess, and there's this like place, this field that only the desperate can get to that has treacle in it, and treacle was a very specific thing in my mind. Maybe it's because I'm going into this without the bias of like having recently seen Alice in Wonderland or the live action versions of Alice in Wonderland, but I loved the way that the world was described to me, or the world that I pictured. I'm not really sure if there's a difference there, but like, I love the world that I was in. I hated the plot of this book. I'm all for not totally happy endings, right? Like, I argue for them quite often. After reading this, I don't think I'll ever write one, ever, again, ever. The writing wasn't that good. The plot was kind of all over the place. It felt kind of rushed at points. Things either dragged or things were too rush. There needed to be a consistent pace. Like, all this, like, courtship with the king stuff at some point seemed to drag, and then some of the action-y stuff seemed too fast at some point. Like, not action-y stuff, but the sequence of events that happened around the action. Whoever proofread this did not do a very good job, because there were several grammatical errors, which perhaps I was just overly tuned into those. But yeah, I don't really have too much more to say about this book, except that I frigging absolutely despise the plot of it and love Jest and the characters. I don't know how I feel about this book overall. I can't give it a wholehearted thumbs up, and I can't give it like a wholehearted thumbs down. I want everyone to read it so they feel my pain. That's about all I can say. I want people to read this and experience the same agony that I am feeling and have been feeling all weekend. This isn't the best that Marissa Meyer has written, but it's not terrible. I liked this better than I liked Winter. The pacing of Winter was worse than the pacing of this book, I think. I feel like someone stabbed me in the chest. I cried several times talking about this book to friends, and I am now going to go curl up in a hole and hopefully never have to touch this book ever again. If you haven't read Heartless for some reason and you watched my review of it, I'm sorry that I spoiled everything. But, you know, I mean, what are you gonna do? I'm gonna go leave any book recommendations you have down below. If you want to cry in the comments with me, leave comments, except maybe say like spoiler alert so that no one reads it and gets spoiled. Bye.